We are here with Mehek Cooke. Pronounced that right?
It's perfect. Like, what the heck, Mehek?
What the heck, Mehek? That's a great Twitter handle. If you don't have that already, probably your actual name would be better. Immigration attorney, among other things. Attorney that deals with immigration. I don't necessarily call you specifically an immigration attorney. Here's my question that I've been curious about this whole time with the Trump administration and the messaging regarding immigration. Why are they not just saying, we're following the law? Like, the law provides that the executive branch enforces the law that Congress sets. And currently, the law is you can't come into the country illegally. So what we're doing, if you want to change the law, go for it. Why isn't that the main thing that conservatives are talking about?
Look, I think the problem with conservatives in general is that we're constantly backtracking and responding to Democrats. So we put ourselves in a box rather than tearing down that box and saying, here's the truth. We're upholding the rule of law.
Yeah.
What the Biden administration did was dismantle it. It was based on feelings. We want to be humanitarian. We want to be good.
Yeah.
You can do all those things while upholding the rule of law. So we have to go back to the Constitution, legal versus illegal, and start labeling things like that, and we'll be in a better place today.
What is the biggest, practicing immigration law, what's the biggest either aha moment or oh no moment that you've had?
I think the biggest issue today is asylum cases. They're technical, they're difficult, and what we've done through the previous administration was you watch so many people come in and use one word, asylum, but we never asked what they were running from. What I started doing is I went to the border more times than Kamala Harris and AOC, didn't do it as a photo op, but I stood there and talked to legal and illegal immigrants. What illegal immigrants were telling me was, I want asylum. And I said, well, what are you running from? It's not what they were running from, it's what they were running to, and it's the American dream. They want a job, they want better opportunities. All of that is fine and good, but you need to remain in your own country and petition. So asylum has become one of those words where we immediately think we have to rescue. We have to ask what people are running from and then take those cases.
I've always thought too, and this is just me thinking as a rational individual, if my family didn't live in the United States, over the last 4 years, I would try everything I could to just get here because we had this open-ended policy. But with asylum cases where they're at now, obviously there's a huge waiting time for these things to get heard. Where do you think they're going to go judicially in terms of like whether they get approved, whether or not? How is that going to turn out over the next couple of years?
Well, I think a lot of people who've come in illegally, it's insane. You're waiting almost 3 to 4 years for even your court hearings. So we need to revamp our system. We need more immigration judges, and I think we should put them in certain regions where people have to go there and get processed immediately. No more back and forth where you wait for a new court date or a retrial. We have to start processing. It's almost like a DUI court, in my opinion. You come in, you show your evidence, and the judge either stamps you for approval or they don't. You're either in or out. You're either paying a fine or you're not. But if we don't start expediting and we continue to sit there, we're just getting buried with paperwork today.
So my understanding, and I could be wrong, I as a guy who considered going to law school, I know you probably have a little bit more credentials than me on that front. I understand it in a way that Congress can pass a bill that has temporary judges to sort through this faster, to expedite the process.
That is correct.
Is there any reason that they haven't done that, especially considering the fact that Republicans control both houses?
Well, this is the problem with the Republican Party. They continue to get elected and fail to deliver. The big, beautiful bill, the fact that we took this long, the back and forth, I know it's technical. I know that there were a lot of issues with how we were going to pay, fund, the tax issues for some of these SALT congressmen. But at the end of the day, that's what I call them. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about border security. And if you want to balance the budget, let's do that the next time around. This was about securing our border and providing tax relief for every single American. And we couldn't get on board until President Trump had to get involved. And J.D. Vance, who, by the way, is a rock star. I'm from Ohio. I think he's one of those individuals that had to put his foot down and really wheel and deal. We're Republican. What do we stand for? Conservative ideals, protecting our border, protecting families, cutting taxes. The fact that we had to get J.D. Vance and President Trump involved, that tells you everything about the Republican Party. We have to be better. We have to deliver. And this is the first time, in my opinion, that Republicans are being tested. When you campaign on something, you better deliver, you're out.
And that's the big theme of this whole event. Like Charlie kind of started it off as, well, you have this groundswell momentum. You have to do something with it, as opposed to just kind of let it squander away, which is what libs do all the time, unfortunately. Do you think that this is obviously the legislation passed, which is great? Is 3.5 years long enough to be able to figure this mess out? Because a bunch of people are like, well, we're going to go after the criminal illegals first, the ones that have committed crimes. That's a couple 100,000. There's 20 million of them here. How do you how long does it actually take to figure this out?
Look, I think it's very easy today. This is the message to illegals. Self-deport, because if we find you, you will not have access to come back. But if you self-deport, I think this is what President Trump should say. If you self-deport today, we will allow you to come back legally. That way, an illegal actually says, I'm going to self-deport because I have the opportunity to achieve the American dream. If you are caught, you are never allowed back in the United States. That fear will drive so many illegals out today. That's the messaging that has to happen from the president and his team. Self-deport will allow you back legally. If you don't and you get caught, you are never coming back into our country. That will motivate anybody who wants to provide. Look, I'm a legal immigrant. I came here at age 5. My grandparents petitioned for us. We waited. We waited for our paperwork. We paid our filing fees. We've lived the American dream. And I challenge anybody who wants to do it legally. That's how you sort the mess out. And everybody else, ICE agents have to have that immediate authority to deport. No more processing, no more sitting there waiting in line. You need to go in front of a judge and start deportation. The fact that we have judicial activists today stopping illegals, I mean, this is insane today.
How do you expedite it? Because the legal process, right? Because that's the biggest thing, right? I mean, my dad immigrated here. We have friends from our church where he immigrated here legally and then petitioned for the rest of his family, his wife and 2 daughters. It took him 19 years.
That's unbelievable.
How does that get sorted out? Because I think if the legal process gets expedited, you don't have as many people coming across illegally.
That's correct. And I think we need to completely restructure the immigration process. When I say restructure, I'm not talking about changing the law. It's about the paperwork. It's about the process. It's about hiring individuals. Instead of IRS agents that Biden wanted to hire, those 87,000, put them in immigration systems and centers to start processing legal immigrants. It's all paperwork at the end of the day. You have to prove who you are. You can come to this country if you're contributing, and I think it needs to be merit-based, right? Yeah. I've worked on H-1Bs. If you're contributing to this country and you want to be a U.S. citizen, come to our country. We welcome you. If you're coming here for a student visa and you're going to go back to China and spy on our country, I'm sorry, you're out. We have to start prioritizing who comes in our country. We're the only country that welcomes every single illegal immigrant with our open arms, whether they're MS-13 gang members or terrorists. It's unacceptable. Yeah. But hire those 87,000 IRS agents that Biden wanted to hire. Let's start getting them to process legal immigrants.
But if we get rid of the paperwork, what are we going to put down that big mine? We love paperwork in this country.
Well, yeah, the bureaucracy has to stop. Yeah. There's ways to streamline this. There's ways that we can hire. And this is where a legal immigrant should be hired to process paperwork. They understand it best, right? They're the ones who filled it out. They understand exactly what the process is. They understand what's missing. They can coach the individuals to say, this is how you become a legal immigrant. Let's start hiring the people that are here legally to help process paperwork. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Hey, President Trump, if you're watching, first of all, thank you for watching Turning Point tonight. Second, you've got somebody who head that up right here. Mehek Cooke, thank you so much. Really appreciate the conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.